Please join me in welcoming Traci Bild.
Thank you. We have a special surprise on that book for you. If you come see me tomorrow in the store, it's a secret. So, about 5 years ago, I was cleaning out my closet, which we all love to do, right? And I was reaching on the shelf, and I stumbled across this heavy tin-like box. And I pulled it out, and I was like, what is this? And when I opened it, there were like 100 letters in this box. And some of them were cards, and some of them were yellow, and they were old, and they were delicate in nature. And I was like, who are these from? So I opened them up, and I started reading these letters. And as I started reading them, it was things like this. Hello, my darling, sexy man. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you. I feel like I can't breathe. What? Oh, the places we'll go. Italy, France, Germany. You're the most amazing human being I've ever met. I mean, look at this. And I was reading the letters. Before I realized it, I was sitting on the floor, crying, trying to figure out who in the world wrote these letters to my husband. Because it wasn't me. And as I read them, I was really jealous. Because this girl that wrote those letters was amazing. And I remember thinking, my gosh, I would fall in love with this girl. She's amazing. She's passionate, fun. Look how much she believes in Dave. I mean, whatever she wrote, he probably believed he could do anything, because look at all these letters. And then I thought, who wrote these letters? And what I realized is it was her. Traci Schaefer, my girl, wrote those letters. And as I was going one letter to the next, I was filled with shame. I was embarrassed, and I felt like I'd kind of dropped my end of the deal. Because the letter started when I was like 21. You can kind of tell I'm a little bit younger there. And I was so full of passion and zest and life. And you could tell in these letters, I really believed that anything was possible. And in every letter, I would tell Dave that. And I believed in myself, and the sky was the limit. And I was so jealous of this girl as I read the letters, and I thought, who are you? Who is this girl? And what I realized is she'd been hijacked by this woman, Traci Bild. Serial entrepreneur, someone who just loves growing companies, loves building her team, traveling all over, speaking, trying to write multiple books. Oh, and be super mom, super wife. And I never even realized I was hijacked, because I thought life's good. I'm happy. I have a good marriage. I'm living my dream. I have an amazing family. I really thought things were great until I read the letters. And it put everything in perspective, and I realized I want that girl back. And I bet my husband would like her back. Because as I read those letters, the passion over the 20-year period those letters were written went away. The vacations and the trips and the I miss you, I can't breathe without you became, so when are you coming home? I need help with the kids. I'm overwhelmed. That girl was so buried in responsibility that she literally checked out so this woman could take over. It was a life-transforming moment for me. And when I found those letters and I got through reading them, I just closed the lid and I vowed to get that girl back. Never told Dave, and I just thought, I'm gonna find her. And I went on a journey, and it took a long time to tap in and discover exactly where she went because I liked her. She was fun. She was excited. She had big dreams. I bet some of you have had a moment like I had. And it might not have been a box of letters that you happened to find. It might have been when you were looking through an old photo album and you were revisiting your life and it just hit you. What happened? Or maybe it was when you were folding your 10th load of laundry and you thought, is this my life? It could have been just a random moment when you were getting dressed, putting on your makeup, and you just looked in the mirror and thought, who are you? How many of you can relate to that moment? Can say, I've had that moment? And maybe some of you now are thinking, yeah, where's my girl? Because it's probably been a long time since you've seen her. So what happens to our girl, by the way? As I went on my journey, what I discovered is this generation of women, we're unprepared for what came at us, right? So my grandmother, Leela Keeler, didn't work. She had a third grade education. Her job was to care for her children. My grandfather worked. She had no expectations except for manage the home, care for the children, keep them clothed and fed. That's your job. Then my mother, Sue Keeler, the expectation was be a mom, take care of the home, and boom, in the middle of that, divorce hit. Oh, by the way, now I know you're not prepared, but you better go get a job and start providing for those 3 children. And before as long, it's 3 jobs, 3 children. No one prepared her. She had no skills. Her expectation was, I'm going to care for my home and my children. A lot of our mothers had jobs, part-time jobs. Some of them had careers. They were trendsetters. They were ahead of their time. Then there's us. What is the expectation for us? Oh, my Lord. We got to have a career. 40% of us are breadwinners of our family. And after working 40, 50 hours, whatever people work, we're expected to come home and have our other full-time job, right? Of managing the home. We're doing what our grandmothers did, what our mothers did, and now we're doing what our husbands do. And no one taught us how to do it. There is no instruction manual. We were sold a myth that we could have it all. And I'm sorry, I don't even know what it is. Do you? What is it? And I have a feeling I'll never get it because it's not definable. So I realized I was spending my life chasing something that didn't exist. And even if I got it, I wouldn't have known because I don't know what it is. So our wings get clipped as we start to believe in this myth because we were all told we could have it all, so we try to have it all. You know, we start a career. You know, we have this amazing career we love, or, you know, then we kind of go off and we get married, and then maybe we have a child. This is so exciting. It's the American dream. We buy a home and get a mortgage, and then we maybe have another child. Sometimes we have 2, 3, or 4 more. Then we realize, who's going to feed these children? And what some people don't realize is feeding the family isn't just feeding the family. We have to plan the meals, go grocery shopping, cook it, and figure out what to feed them. How are we supposed to know how to feed this family 3 square meals a day? Then, the worst part is, we gotta clean, and it never ends. After working all day, and then we go to purgatory with endless laundry. That no matter what you do, you just want to see the bottom of the bin, and it's for like 5 minutes, and then it's full again. And we're trying to do it with a smile because we want to be super moms, super wives. We want to have it all. And we're really trying to have it all. But I don't know if we really can have it all. And what happened to me and what may have happened to you is that along the way, we lose ourselves in the process. In the pursuit to have it all, we lose what matters most, our sanity, our spiritual, physical, and mental well-being. We become machines that are on autopilot. We feel very little because we don't have time to feel. We're too busy doing everything. And I don't think if our parents would have known, they would have taught us. I don't think our mothers wanted this for us. We've got to learn how to do this so we don't do this to our daughters. Today, what I would like you to do is to dwell in possibility. I want you to just think about, if I could do anything or feel anything or create a life beyond my wildest imagination, what would that look like? Not according to everybody else's terms, my terms. So I want you to turn to someone near you, behind you, and I want you to tell them the one thing you want so bad you can taste it. And don't sugarcoat it. Tell the truth. Because there's a thing we'll tell people, then there's a thing that's deep in our soul that, like, when we say it, we almost cry because we want it so bad, but we're scared to tell people because what if it doesn't happen? So what if it doesn't happen? You never had it anyways. You're not even going to know. So what is it you really, really want? Turn right now and be brave, because you can't expect your team to be real if you're not real. Tell your neighbor, and you can whisper it, what you really want, that deep-seated one thing so bad. Okay. Not a lot of time, I know. That one thing. Are you doing 2? One thing. Okay. How did that feel? I'm going to tell you something, so I need your attention. God just heard you, okay? Ask and you shall receive. But if you're the one that doubts, he says you can move a mountain, but then we go, how? No more how. Just believe for what you just said. You don't have to know how. You just have to proclaim it. And that is the truth. So I hope you really said what you really wanted. And where I need to take you and where this begins is that you have to understand it's not about having it all. You have to define your all. What do you want? What I learned in my journey is that it really doesn't take a lot to make me happy. I want a wonderful, happy, fulfilling marriage. I want my kids to just be healthy and happy and have beautiful relationships. I want to have a successful business and I want to travel the world. That's it, and I'm happy. That's my all. Your all might be entirely different, right? But we fall into this thing where we're all trying to figure out what it is and look like we have it all, but nobody knows what it is, and we're losing things like our marriages and our health in pursuit of something that doesn't exist. So you need to think, what do I want? And change your thinking to the reality versus the myth that we can have it all. And there's a lot to think about when you consider your all. You've got a lot on your plate. What do you want spiritually in your life? What do you want for your family? What kind of family did you dream you would have? What do you want for your business? Why are you here? What kind of health do you want to have? How do you want to feel? What kind of relationship do you want to have? What kind of marriage do you want to live in for the rest of your life? What kind of friendships do you want? That's a lot to think about. So what I realized is that there's a lot on my plate. There's a lot on your plate. As women, we have to prioritize what matters most to us, not our friends, not our mothers, or the people that set expectations for us. We, as individuals, have to decide what our priorities are. And sometimes that means shutting out the noise, quieting your mind, and getting real about what matters most to you. Then, all you have to do is build goals around the priorities that matter most. And then define very specific action steps to give those goals legs so they can take off and run. So I want you to think about one or two of your top priorities right now in your life. What is it right now in the next 90 days that you need to focus on in your life? I've been talking to you guys. What about your marriage, your relationships? Women are hurting so bad in this area because they love their spouses, but they don't have time for them. They're the last person on the list, and they know it. I knew it, but I didn't know how to fix it. And what I realize is, if that's a priority for me, to have a beautiful, loving, fun, adventurous marriage, it better be on my goal list, because that's more important to me than growing my business. So if that's important to you, put it on the list. And don't worry about him. Focus on you and how you can make that relationship richer, more meaningful, more fun. For me, I wanted that girl back that Dave fell in love with, because I thought, my gosh, what if he meets her somewhere else? And I'm this woman, and he falls in love with her. I mean, I had a panic attack. I want him to love me like he did then. And that was who I was when he met me. Where is she? What do you want? That might be one example. What do you want in your relationships? Let's say that is important to you and that's a priority. And you might have picked health. You might have picked your children, your family. It might have been your business. But whatever you're picking as that one or two top priorities, what action steps, simple daily actions can you take that will lead to the arrival of that goal? When we build our life around the priorities that matter most, and we set goals around the things that matter most, and define what steps will help us get there so we can create new habits to foster what the outcomes are we want, you've got to think about, okay, so how am I going to have a better relationship? Well, one thing is you got to have time together, right? So a perfect action step might be, well, let's have a date night. Let's date like we did when we first met. Let's have time together. Let's look each other in the eyes. Let's have a kiss. When's the last time you've had a juicy kiss? Besides a peck. Hi, honey. Some of us don't even look at our husbands anymore. We don't even see them because we're so busy running around, we're not making eye contact. They know that. They miss that. And you probably miss it too. What about compliments? Men are kind of simple. Men, you agree in the room. Just give them a compliment. And I remember when I was going through finding my girl, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to thank him for unloading the dishwasher, but I do it like 10 times a week and no one thanks me. Okay, hey, honey, I noticed you unloaded the dishwasher. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And when I first started doing that, I was like, really? He never says thank you to me. Nobody even knows I do it. They think it magically just gets empty. But I did it. I would start saying, hey, Dave, I noticed you unloaded the dishwasher. Thank you. And then I'd come in the next day, you look so nice today. And I noticed he'd be like, really? Thank you. Oh, thank you. And it broke my heart. He was starving for that. And then I realized he started doing more because he liked the acknowledgement. And I was so happy to give it to him. And it was sincere, though, because I really did appreciate it. And I would oftentimes think, oh, thank God he took the clothes out of the washer. But I would never say thank you. But I thought, you know what? I can't help what he says to me. Why don't I just start saying it to him? So I started complimenting him every day, and my marriage started improving every day. And next thing I know, he started saying thank you to me, and I love you more, and kissing me more, and so we started slow dancing in the kitchen more because we were appreciating each other. And I was focusing on making my marriage what I always dreamed it would be. That's what I'm talking about when you take these action steps and start to create something amazing. Eye contact. The things I'm telling you are so simple. Life is not complicated. Your goals should be, okay, what is it I want, and what are the simple things I can focus on every day to make it happen? And I realize when I'm talking to my husband, I'm not even looking at him. I'm kind of like, and all over the place. Our husbands and our partners want to be seen. And if you're not in a relationship, maybe it's your child. Maybe it's your mother when you're talking to her, or your grandmother, or your best friend. Are we really seeing them? Are we complimenting them and acknowledging them and letting them know how much we mean to them while we can, while they're here, while they're in our lives? Are we spending time with them? Maybe you're saying, my priority is my business. That's why I'm here. My marriage is great. My health is great. I gotta work on my business. Okay. What do you really want for your business? What do you want so bad that when you think about it, it's like, oh, I'm scared to even say it. I find that women are afraid to proclaim what they really want because they don't want to be let down when they don't get it. Oh my gosh, just proclaim it. As I said, you've never had it anyways, and once you write something down and put it into the world, it will magically happen. I don't even know how it works. It's like this amazing, wonderful thing that, God just gave us this ability to say, I want this to happen in my life, and it happens, but with work. And you have to prioritize what do you want specifically in your business, and how am I going to get it? So you need those action steps again. Let's say you want to be a director, right? Well, you're not just going to be a director by thinking about it. You have to do something about it. So you might say, okay, I'm going to be on the phone 1 hour every day generating income-producing activity. No exception. And if I miss a day, it's 2 hours the next day. I'm committed, I'm there, I'm showing up. I'm going to do 2 parties a week. I'm going to have 2 career path calls a week. And I am going to do 2 sponsoring interviews a week. And if I do these 4 action steps, I feel that I will become a director. And you know what? That's all you can do. Let the rest just show up. Because when you know what you want, you make that decision, you put action behind it, the people, the resources, the tools, everything you need will show up for you because you're doing your part. Never, ever doubt that. And if for some reason there's a turn and something else happens, it's probably going to be way more amazing than you even imagined. So as I talk about just those 2 examples of priorities, you got to go back and think, okay, so I've got, all these different things in my life. What do I really want? And what do I really need right now in the place I am in my life? And you know what? You've got to get quiet. Have some alone time. Allow yourself to shut out the noise and just listen. Because inside is your girl saying, let me out. I believed in us. Let me out. I have big dreams. Please listen to me. And you can't let that scheduled, organized woman beat her down anymore. You've got to let her out. And you have to figure out where you need to focus. And also realize that it's not about having it all. And then I bet it doesn't take a lot to make you happy. It's your all. And guys, we've got to start teaching this to our daughters because they're coming up behind us and the expectation's going to be even harder for them. They're already going to, the expectations to have masters and have these amazing jobs and 4.0 GPAs, and they're cutting themselves, they're confused, they don't even know what to do because the pressure is so intense before they even get out of high school. We must change so they can emulate us. And my dream is to help women get their girl back so our daughters never lose them. You notice on this rock, there's just two things sitting there with a nice foundational rock. What are your 3 top priorities going to be? And maybe next year they change and reprioritize and you put something else on the list. Don't try to put it on the rock because it's going to tip and fall over. I'd like you to think about, in listening to this message, 90 days to change your life. That's one season to completely grow new wings, transform who you are, and decide, you know what? Maybe I could do this. You can't doubt your ability. There's no room for doubt. I am going to do this. And this is how it's going to feel, and I'm going to savor it when I get there. Because you know what? Some of us accomplish so much, and we never even take the time to acknowledge what we've accomplished. We're just on to the next. Your girl, if she could see what you were doing right now, she'd be jumping up and down, screaming, laughing, giggling, rolling around on the floor because she probably never imagined you being in a fancy hotel like this, running around, getting paid to have fun and build relationships. It's like a dream job for her. So I want you to think about your 90-day vision to transform your life. Figure out your priorities and don't make excuses for whatever you pick. They're yours, it's your life. Build goals around the priorities that matter most to you, and do not ever make an excuse for these choices you make. You do not have to explain yourself to anybody. And then define the action steps that will help you get to the arrival of those goals, and do not lose focus, and do not change direction. Do not waver on your priorities, because that will be the test. Stand firm and pursue your all. The most important thing to all of this, guys, is that you really need to pay special attention to where your thoughts are, because you are what you think you are. Your life is a direct result of your thoughts. If you think your marriage stinks, it stinks. If you think that you're unhealthy, you'll be unhealthy and you'll make bad choices. If you think your business is failing, it'll fail because we're giving that energy. We need to focus on what we want, what we can do, what we're doing right, what's great about our marriages and our health and our children and our businesses, and live in gratitude. Because when we're grateful and we're in an abundance mindset, it flows towards you. We make it so much more difficult than it has to be. And unfortunately, our nature tends to go that way. We focus on what we can't do. But every day, if you wake up and every time you hear those negative thoughts, replace them with a positive thought. When you think about, I can't do this, I can do this, just fight back, retrain your brain to really understand that you are in control and that you will decide by power of choice and thought what you do with your life and where it goes. And again, if you won't do it for yourself, do it for your children, because they will watch and emulate you and they will learn from you. If you have no idea what in the world you want, and you didn't know what to whisper to somebody, and you're sitting there thinking, I wish I knew, I don't know. I understand, I've been there too. The best way you will ever find this is through dream journaling. I have 4 dream journals. They are my most prized possessions. If my house was catching on fire, those are coming out first. They're every dream I've ever had. And I remember I would put things in there and think, yeah, right, you're never going to do this, but I thought, nope, just put it in there. And when I go back and I reflect on those dream journals, it blows my mind. I love to go back and I'll be flipping through and I'll go, oh, I did that. And I'll put a little date in there of when I accomplished it. And now what's happened is those 3 previous dream journals, whenever I'm scared and I'm doing a new dream journal, I'm like, do not fret. What you did then, you've proven you can do tomorrow. And I'm going to show you an example. 20 years ago, well, 1995, I sat on my living room floor, I was waiting tables, and I wrote this down. I'll fulfill my dream of being a motivational speaker. I will help others to become the best they can be. I'll learn from the master motivators of the world. Norman Vincent Peale, I feel like he raised me, power of positive thinking. Right? Where am I today? I had no special training, right? This is the power of intention. I never in my life dreamed I'd actually get to do this, but I've committed it to paper. Why on that second page of that dream journal had this boat. I was like, hey, I live in Florida now. I'm from Ohio. I want a cool boat. I see those people on boats. I thought I'll just write this down. This was crazy for me. I mean, I grew up in a trailer court. I had, a single mom raising 3 kids, but I thought, well, I like this boat. That's me on the front. Courage, determination, pace, persistence. Why not? Named it Persistence. 1995. In 2005, I had the exact same boat sitting outside the back of my house. Same size, same color, Persistence. I didn't even realize it till one day I was picking up a dream journal, it dropped on the floor, and I saw that boat, and I almost passed out. It was the exact same boat. Your intention is way more powerful than you could ever imagine. Be careful what you ask for, as my mom taught me, because you will get it. And never doubt what you can get. And I want to leave you with this pledge, because this is the foundation of our movement, and writing Get Your Girl Back is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, because putting your personal stuff out there is not easy. I fought it for a long time until somebody said to me, are you prepared to miss your destiny? If you do not write this book, you're going to miss it. I was like, no, I will write it. Our pledge. I vow to support other women, even those I don't know. I will offer them words of encouragement and kindness whenever possible, because God knows we need it. I will never judge another woman because I have not walked in her shoes. I will resist all temptation to gossip. I will lift other women up, helping to glue them back together when life tears them apart. And that's what I hope that you will do for each other here, and that you'll help me spread this movement throughout the world. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the store tomorrow.